Now, a lot of Model 3 owners really like to customize their vehicles and make them unique and their own. However, for some of us, we like to keep a very stock OEM look and feel. However, stock OEM parts can come at a cost. Sometimes there's things that didn't come on your vehicle, but that you want to put on your vehicle. However, Tesla won't allow you to order it, or it's pretty gosh darn expensive. Unless you know the right third-party part to buy to get the same look and feel. We're going to take a look at one of them today. Now, for those of you that don't know, I have a rear-wheel drive long-range Model 3. I bought it when it first came out. At the time, there were no white seat options, there was no white dash option, there was no performance or all-wheel drive. Now, thinking back upon that, if there was, would I have gotten it? I don't really know, but there are certain things that I really liked. For example, I really liked the white interior. Fortunately, getting white seats and transplanting them seems to be quite a difficult task. However, if you remember my video that I did about getting a white dash into my car, I'll put a link to it right above, that was an easy modification and allowed me to customize my vehicle just a little bit, but keep a very OEM look with a white dash that matched the exterior white paint of my vehicle. Now, what I really like is a lot of the features on the Performance Model 3. The red calipers. As you saw, I did get my calipers painted locally here to match the same red performance calipers found on the Performance Model 3. However, there was one thing I was still missing, and that is the spoiler. The Performance Model 3 has a very sleek, very discreet OEM carbon fiber spoiler. It goes right there. Right there. And it looks really clean. Unfortunately, a lot of the aftermarket spoilers that are available on the market are too short, too stubby, and didn't look like OEM. Hence, it got me to search and scour the net until I think I found the perfect one. Let's talk about the differences. Now, since the crux of this video is aftermarket versus OEM, what would a good review video be without both spoilers? So on my left here is the performance spoiler available by RPM Tesla, and in this hand here is the Tesla OEM performance spoiler. You can see the part number listed right in there. And what I'd like to talk about is, initially, what are the differences, and does it make sense, and what's the cost savings, which is the most important part. Not only that, both spoilers are damn near identical from the curve to the length to the depth in the middle. The length is 4 feet, the depth in the middle is exactly 2 inches. I mean, it's crazy how similar these spoilers are. Now, where I saw the differences lied in just some small things. Number one, the adhesive. The adhesive on the OEM spoiler takes up the entire channel. Anyone who's not familiar with these spoilers, they don't sit on top, they don't sit below, they sit right on the wedge of the trunk. So when I first looked at the Tesla OEM, the adhesive seems to take up the entire channel, so I figure it's going to be a better fitment. But from what I've been hearing from a lot of the Performance Model 3 owners that have this spoiler is that there are some gaps, and maybe because there's so much here, it causes it to not be as flush on the car. Now, RPM stuck with a thinner strip of adhesive. They also made it very easy by making these strips go off the ends to be able to install and pull these while it's setting. So it makes the installation of the RPM Tesla spoiler quite a bit easier. As you see, the OEM Tesla version does not have that. In fact, if you've seen them install the OEM spoiler, they have to use these jigs that sit on the sides that allow it to be perfectly lined up. The second feature that I want to highlight is the actual carbon fiber weave. Now, RPM Tesla does say this is carbon fiber. It looks to be carbon fiber. In fact, the weight difference between the two spoilers is less than an ounce different, with RPM actually coming in a little bit lighter. That may be due to less adhesive on the back. But in any case, RPM Tesla, a little bit lighter. Now, the RPM Tesla carbon fiber weave and pattern kind of pops a little bit more than the Tesla OEM spoiler. Tesla OEM has more of a square weave pattern. It's very flat and matte. Now, the RPM one that I got is a matte format, but there's a little bit more of a design element to the carbon fiber weave that's used on this one. I kind of like it. I'll show you some shots of it in the light, but you'll notice not a whole lot difference between the two of them. Now, which spoiler do I recommend? Well, you've probably assumed what I'm leaning towards is RPM Tesla. It looks, acts, feels exactly like Tesla's OEM spoiler at a fraction of the cost. Now, is my car gonna go faster? Maybe. Is it gonna look cooler? Maybe, but that's subjective. Now, one difference I did notice between the two spoilers is the RPM Tesla spoiler had a little bit of a grayish hue to it, whereas the OEM Tesla spoiler was more black. The difference was so minor that it was hardly noticeable. In fact, you had to hold it in a certain way and be looking at it under certain lighting circumstances to see it look a little bit grayer than the Tesla OEM. A very small difference that's hardly noticeable. Now, regarding installation, the company has put up a great tutorial on how to install it, but really it's quite simple. You hold up the spoiler, make sure that it's in line with the edge of your trunk while it's in line, and that you've understood its placement to make sure that both sides are even. While holding it in place, you take off the adhesive backing, thus allowing the adhesive to stick and hold it in place. You will need to put some painter's tape to hold it in place for a set period of time to make sure that it cures before taking it off and enjoying your new spoiler. All right, Raj, we get what you're saying, but why go with RPM over the OEM? Simple. Cost. The Tesla OEM spoiler, if you take a look at a receipt, it's about $700, maybe even more, plus installation. Now, you can find those being resold on eBay for around $450, $500, $600, but RPM Tesla's performance spoiler is $240. That's after a 20% discount code that's found right on their website. Hence, at such a big cost difference and not much differences physically as you just saw, I highly recommend going with the RPM Tesla performance spoiler, as it is the closest thing to Tesla's performance OEM spoiler out on the market today. Now, one thing I did want to call out is the time from order placement to order received did take a little bit, but RPM was really cool. I reached out to them to ask and follow up on when I was going to receive my order. Mine took about 4 weeks to arrive, but RPM was really good about responding and answering, looking into it, and making sure that I got my spoiler. Remember, do what you want to do and customize your car for you. Get it that design and unique look that you want. For me, I'm going to add a spoiler on from RPM Tesla. If you are considering looking at this spoiler too, I'll put a link down below. I did pay for this spoiler. It was not given to me, nor is this video sponsored by RPM Tesla, but I'm actually pretty impressed with the spoiler. Anyway, you can find a link to this product down below. And if you have any questions regarding spoilers or third-party accessories or anything else you want to see me cover, comment them down below or shoot me an email. And if you like this video, hit it with the thumbs up button. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. Putting out more content every single week. And I appreciate all of you joining me for this ride. And I'll catch you guys next time. I guess now the only question is to spoil or not to spoil. Just go ahead and spoil it. Are you gonna spoil her? Spoil her? Stupid idiot. You're so dumb. Wing me. Go ahead and wing it. Put a wing on it. Throw a wing on that. Spoil me. Spoil it. Spoil her. Spoiler time. Spoil the time. Spoil off. Tesla. Spoiler. Spoil it. Spoiler. Spoil her. Spoiler time. Wing it. Wing me. Wing these. Wingdings. Wingdings. Alright, that's enough. Will you spoil it by spoiling her with a spoiler? Okay, enough. Cut. We're out.